First 3 minutes of the game here at Wikesong Stadium in Beijing, and it's a fairly poor start percentage-wise. Neither side on target at the moment. Iran 2 lead Croatia 0. No, Croatia still not on the board. They might be now. It's taken a long, long time.
It has, and Iran have made a lot of progress throughout this tournament, although they haven't had a win. In their last outing against Argentina, only lost by 15.
Nikar with the shot.
So they have gotten better, but they have an average losing margin of just a tick over 23 points a game. So they're up against it today against a very strong Croatian outfit.
Well, this is amazing shooting from Croatia.
Just a little sloppy in the way they're going about it. I think Iran may have been taken for granted by some of these Croatian boys, and that's dangerous.
Nikar, he's a good player.
Absolutely. With Nikar and Haddadi, the main two scoring players for Iran, they have got enough to trouble some teams, and we've seen right throughout the tournament for periods, certain quarters they've won.
Definitely for 1 and maybe 2 quarters, they've pushed a lot of teams, but then they haven't been able to go on with it. So if Croatia are a little bit lazy here this morning and think it's easy, they'll be in strife, because the big man Haddadi can cause some problems, can't he?
Haddadi's been fantastic right throughout the tournament. He's averaging a double-double, and that is double figures for both scoring and points. He's at 16.5 points a game and right on 10 rebounds a game.
I just want to ask you about him. He plays in the Iranian League. Now, he wouldn't have drawn any attention up until now, but he's played the same teams as all of the other big blokes here this week. So you can only compare him to those other tall centres. He's 218 centimetres, and as you said, he's averaging double-double. Do you think anyone would have looked at him this week? There are scouts here.
Absolutely, both from NBA standpoint and also throughout Europe. 7'2" blokes don't fall out of trees.
Well, he's in a team here that, let's be brutal, they're going to finish last, so they're not great, and yet he's pulling the figures that he is. What if he was in a half-reasonable team?
Absolutely, and he would be serviceable. Anyone that size, matter of fact, anyone that size that can walk and chew gum at the same time is going to get a very, very serious look at it.
Yep. Banic scores for Croatia, 6 plays 4. And the thing about Haddadi is he plays just about all of the minutes. He rarely goes off.
36 minutes a game.
Yeah, because they need him, and he stays out there and he works so hard.
And he cops a pounding, as we see there, a double team. Every time he gets the ball, he's got to deal with 1, 1.5, sometimes 2 defenders as they dive down on him. And Ukic, great hustle by Ukic. Ukic is going to be the backup point guard for the Toronto Raptors next season, backing up another international in Calderon from Spain. So big times ahead for him.
Brozic, gee, it's a very sloppy start from both teams. Nikar. When they came down to Australia during the year, Iran, it was Nikar and Haddadi that dominated for Iran. They had very good numbers against Australia. Nice ball into Banic. And it's fair to say Nikar's done pretty well here in Beijing as well. Averaging 15 points a game, shooting at 41%.
Off the ball foul. Foul was on Sahakian, I believe. Was it?
You've called correctly. Yep, number 12 drew the foul, Sahakian. Thomas comes in for Croatia.
It's really at this end of the floor on the defensive end that's hurt Iran. As we see, just not getting out to the shooters. They don't quite have the size and athleticism of many of the other teams. And as such, opponents are shooting 54% against them, and that's way too high. It's very difficult to win games when you're allowing teams to score that easily against you.
Nikar, quick ball in for Haddadi. It came off Croatian hands. Afar goes off, and coming on, number 9, Zondi, former captain of the Iranian team. So 9 plays 6, Croatia lead, 3-point attempt, and just missed absolutely everything there. Sarobnajad it was with the shot. This is Kush. 3-pointer. Croatia, a handy break now. Lead by 6.
Iran need to do a better job of getting out to the shooters. That time, Kush wide open. And Nikar, he launches one. As we've said right throughout the tournament, he's never seen a shot he doesn't like. And look at the way Croatia run the floor. And that really comes from a quick shot. Nikar takes a shot early on in the offense. Easy rebounding opportunity. They run the floor. And Croatia, with the skill they've got, always going to make the most of that.
Timeout called by Iran. 2:12 left on the clock in the first quarter. It's Croatia 14, Iran 6.
So we take a look at some of the highlights, and there's Nikar. He thinks shot first, second and third. And really he has to, because there's not a lot of scoring options out there for Iran. And he's got good touch around the basket. And one of the more athletic players for Iran.
Let's have a listen to the Croatian coach now, Yasmin Repesha. Man who coaches Lokomotiva Roma in Italy. They've got to stay fired up, Croatia. Very easy to take the foot off the pedal today. They're trying to finish 3rd in their group. At the moment they're 4th, but with a win here today, they can go to 3rd in their group.
Well, that's right, and the high probability is that they will finish 3rd. They have had a fantastic start to the tournament, and in the last 2 games against, in particular against Lithuania, but also against Argentina, just lost their way a little bit. Didn't shoot the ball as well as they had earlier on in the tournament.
And the shot clock has beaten Iran. Good pressure, Croatia, who lead at 14-6. Croatia opened up on day 1 with that win over Australia. Oh, quite impressive.
Very impressive. And it's really been their perimeter shooting, one of the better shooting teams in the competition.
Lonchar, first chance for him in the game. Makes no mistake. Croatia by 10.
As Croatia look ahead with a likely matchup against Spain in the quarterfinals, I think that they would feel pretty comfortable about that.
Push now for Croatia. Banic coming down to the last minute. Thomas 3-point attempt, and he makes it. Croatia go further ahead now. 19 plays 6.
Really getting ugly for Iran on that defensive end. Haddadi only just crossing the centre line. He, I think, is called to the bench. He may be looking for a sub.
Yeah, is it starting to catch up with him? He's had to do just about everything for Iran in this tournament. He was very slow to come down the court that time. And the loose ball falls Iran's way. Sarobnajad with the 2 points. 19-8. Croatia by 11. Final play of the quarter. Providing the screen, Banic. Kush jump shot. Rosic needs to get it away now. Doesn't score. Pretty poor from both teams in the first quarter as far as scoring percentages are concerned. Croatia, in the end, actually up to 47%, but Iran down at 27%. The lead scorer on the court is Rosic with 5 for Croatia. And the Croatians, after a sloppy start, get away to an 11-point lead here at quarter time. Croatia 19, Iran 8. Croatia underway in the second quarter at Wukasong Stadium. Another big day of men's competition, the 5th day for them. And then we get into the final, starting with the quarterfinals in 2 days' time. Ukic scores the first points of the second quarter.
Again, that's way too easy for Iran on the offensive glass. Ukic, 6'2" guard. Jamani there just failing to block out. And another turnover for Iran. And it's Ukic. Again, taking advantage of it. Iran really struggling on both ends of the floor. They're shooting the ball at a very subpar 4 of 15 at 27%, 0 of 7 from the three-point line.
And Haddadi's getting frustrated here. I've got to say, we talked him up early, and so we should. He's had a wonderful tournament in a team that has struggled, but today he looks out on his feet. I've got to tell you, and they're going to take him off. He's not running up and down the floor at all, and he just got a bit frustrated then with Nisevic, and I think it's all become a bit too much for the big fella.
I think it all might be becoming a little bit too much for this entire Iranian team. It's their last game of the tournament. They're out of quarterfinal action. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, we play against a switched-on Croatian team who've got bigger things to worry about. They're finding it going tough.
Rosic up to 8 points, the lead scorer on the court. Nikar leads with 4 for Iran. This is Kamrani. Lonchar too tall in his way, and the pass was too tall on that occasion, coming down the court for Croatia. So Daragi's the big man now for Iran at 210 centimetres. So they lose a bit there. Croatians have got a couple of tall fellas. Baric at 217. Bamic is the other tall out there as well. And this is a poor return and another long pass that's too high. Poor return for Iran, just the 8 points on the board so far. Thomas holds up Nikar in the middle and gives away the foul.
Take a look at the foul there, an obvious foul. One of those ones, sacrificial foul to stop the transition basket. Prokachin comes in for Croatia.
Sahakian out wide to Nikar. Davari, oh gee, he missed by a long way. They're on their way home, Iran, aren't they? They've packed their bags and they're ready to check out because it's not happening here at the moment at all.
He missed that by a metre. Little foul shot distance. And he was way off the target.
Croatia surge ahead to be 20 up so early in a game. Danger signs here for Iran. I'm not talking about winning or losing, but just that the scoreline may start to get a little out of hand. Long ball into Haddadi, and he's missed. That's what you call point-blank range. He was on the ring.
He was, and it just goes to show how much they rely on him. Haddadi only off the court for 45 seconds. Forced to come back on to try and bring some stability back into the Iranian outfit. One of the stars of the Croatian team, Popovic, he missed their last game. And that's going to be a blow. Popovic apparently has some sort of leg injury, averaging 10 points a game. And he wasn't there for the loss against Lithuania, and it proved to be a pretty big hole that he filled for the Croatian team, or he created.
The Farg missed with the shot. Thomas on the break, too easy. It's not a good scoreline at the moment. Croatia 32, Iran 8. And we have to stress, Iran have been so much better than this. They really have.
Absolutely, and right throughout the tournament, they've played with a bit of passion and emotion, and although they might be outskilled, they've really taken it up to some of the teams. And in their last game against Argentina, they performed admirably. But I think that that effort may have taken it out of them a little bit, judging by the early form here today, this morning. Perhaps the 9 o'clock starts. They should be familiar with it. 4 out of their 5 games have been at 9 a.m.
They have. Coach Rajko Toraman's got a big job to fire them up here now. And let's hope he does.
They deserve better.
They need to finish. That's right. They need to finish on a high here, Iran. It's been a great experience for them. They haven't been to the Olympics for 60 years in basketball.
And Iranian basketball is really on the up. They've qualified. They beat the much more fancied Lebanon team to reach the Beijing Olympics. Talking to some of their journalists throughout the week, and their league over there in Iran is expanding. The sport's becoming a lot more popular. And hopefully this showing here in Beijing has provided some sort of impetus for their continued development.
Davari. Haddadi a chance and he misses again. Well, they've shot 4 from 21. Croatia to 34 now, Iran 8.
And Croatia, they are ruthlessly efficient. They're up to 58% and 67% from the three-point line.
Nikar open. Haddadi rebound. Finally.
Good effort. There's Haddadi yet again stepping up. Strong rebound. Took it to the glass. He's got really good hands for a big fella. And we see him getting the foul there. He'll go to the line to shoot one. And I don't mean this as an insult to the big fellas, but his quickness and his agility and his hands when he's up there catching the ball. Good touch, good instinct for the game. Iran try to camouflage some of their deficiency on defense. They go to a 2-3 zone and straight away.
Well, Rudez will be enjoying this time. He hasn't seen a lot of minutes in the tournament so far. Gets onto the score sheet there.
Hasn't seen a lot of minutes. He's only played He's only played 3 minutes the entire tournament.
Which I think backs up what I said.
Only a young fella though.
Ukic, Thomas, Rudez. No. Would have been spectacular.
High hopes for this Rudez. He's one of those players I think that they've selected to give him some experience, good insurance policy on the bench, only 22 years of age.
Timeout called. Croatia 37, Iran 10.
And Croatia would be very, very happy with the way they're going about it. Not just the 27-point lead, but also the efficiency after a pretty slow start.
Let's have a listen to their coach.
We receive immediately 3-point shot, immediately in the zone. We didn't return in our zone. First offense, we didn't even put the zone. Where is the problem? What?
Okay. 3 imamo faula, još nismo u bonusu, postoji rezerva, zadržati koncentraciju, zadržati priču, pomoći svi, ako je u rogovima Roko preuzmemo.
Terrific insight into what happens in the huddles during a timeout situation. Croatia with 5:21 left on the clock in the second quarter, lead by 27 points. Which is a huge lead at this stage of the game.
and a real dominant effort on the glass. They're out rebounding Iran 21-10. And the Iranian coach, they're just focusing on their zone defense and how they've got to guard the perimeter, and great ball movement. Because Croatia shoot the ball so well, you could see the Iranian defense so spread, and some good quick passing gets it into Prokachin, the captain, and he goes to the line. He's already 3 of 3 for the game. But when you're in a zone defense, as the Iranian coach was mentioning, you need to put a lot of pressure on the ball, not only to stop the shot, but also to prevent the quick passes and the distribution of the ball around the perimeter.
Margin 30. Davari runs into Prokachin, the captain of Croatia, who gives away the foul. His second foul. Change to be made by Iran. Afag is coming on, and Davari goes to the bench.
Previously in international competition, there would be playoffs for the minor positioning, but that's now been abandoned. So Iran don't fall in those playoffs for 11 and 12.
Now, the way they work out those minor placings now at Olympic competition, it's about points scored.
It's just your general ranking, points scored against. I think it's a very much a subjective view, which does have an impact, because I know for a fact many countries, depending on where you finish, your funding, government funding, those types of issues come into it.
Very important, yeah.
So it can be very important, those rankings.
But in all, Iran have done a good job. They won the Asian Championship. They lost to Lebanon en route to the final, but then beat Lebanon in the final. So it was a good turnaround and saw them come to their first Olympic Games since 1948. What a spell between competitions for them. Rudez again. Showing the coach a little bit here today.
As he ever looks very confident from the perimeter. 2 of 3 from the 2 of 2 from the 2-point line, the 3-point line for his 6 points.
Armeni. And loose ball. Bobbling around like a pinball machine there under the hoop. Nisevic into Prokachin. Thomas open. Rudez. That was sweet.
This zone defense that Iran is playing, it's more like something you'd see in your local recreational league in the B-grade comp on a Monday night. Just stand around, carnival defense at this level. Far greater intensity required.
The mistakes continue. Now, big moment here for Navipur. The number 13 for Iran has not seen a minute in this competition. 212 centimetres, so nice that he's getting a run.
Comes on. First action. He might be able to provide a little bit of a spark. Iran giving up on their zone defense, now gone back to their man-to-man.
Here he is mining Prokachin, and first thing he's done is give away, actually the first thing he did was slip over, and then he gave away a foul.
Well, he'd be nervous, although it's...
Nice move, Nisevic. 48-11. This is Kamrani. He's been so busy for Iran right throughout this tournament. Long, long way out. And an easy rebound for Rosic. Rudez continues to get plenty of it. Nikar on the break. And a foul called on Nisevic. He's not quite sure why.
And look at the captain, Prokachin. Rudez only played in that one game. He's come out and he's done a good job here already, but Prokachin letting him know not happy with his positioning on the defensive end. There he goes, gives him a little bit of love, just a tap on the behind and say, hey, I'm just here to help you.
Nikar with 6 points. Sarobnajad comes back on number 11. Sahakian goes to the bench. Rudez gets free, but they go to Prokachin instead. Oh, nice control with the left hand. Croatia already up to 50 points. Farg with the miss. The Iranians just look at each other, but in the end, Sarobnajad claimed it. Kamrani fires it into Nikar. Good move. 8 points, Nikar. 50 plays 14. Nikar away with the rebound. So he's doing everything at the moment. Goes again.
They needed someone to step up and say, hey, we want to finish this tournament with a little bit of style. And Nikar has been the man the last couple of minutes, really applying himself, plenty of energy out there.
Rudez into Nisevic. Final minute of the half.
Iran need to do a better job of trying to deny those interior passes. Try and force Croatia to the perimeter a little bit more. Having said that, Croatia have been pretty good from there as well.
Nikar's turned it over.
Just trying to do a little bit too much that time, Nikar.
Kush, big opening there and he missed, but Rudez comes in.
Where's he been? Boy, oh boy.
8 points, Rudez.
Not up against a lot, but coming in with playing with plenty of fire in the belly, as you would when you've only seen limited action.
Well, quarterfinals in a couple of days' time. He may get some minutes. Rudez. Kamrani. Time running out. Too slow getting the shot away. Half-time, Croatia 54, Iran 16.
And what an outstanding job by Croatia, particularly on the defensive end. To hold Iran to only 16 points is outstanding. And at the opposite end of the floor, very efficient, 61% field goal shooting percentage and 78%, 7 of 9 from the three-point line.
Rosic and Rudez have 8 points each, but it's Nikar who leads with 10 for Iran. But Croatia lead by 38 at half-time.
So far, let's see if the Iranians can leave Beijing with some sort of pride. They haven't won a game. Let's hope they can make an impression against the highly fancied Croatians, who really are one of the favourites to win a medal at least at Beijing 2008. Let's go back to our commentators, Andrew Grays and Chris Dittmar.
Croatia leads by 38 points at half-time here at Wukasong Stadium up against Iran, and they're on track for their third win of the tournament, which will send them through to the quarterfinals, which start in 2 days from now. And a bit of a training run for them today, but they're actually doing it in a professional way.
They are, and I think they're also using this, Croatia using this occasion to experiment with some of the things they might want to look at later on in the tournament, and also give some of their guns a rest. Zoran Planinic, one of the premier performances in this tournament so far, he's yet to see any court time, and it is an intensive period of games that you go through, day on, day off, and it's the 5th game, and outside of this Iranian game, every game that Croatia's played has been pretty intense.
It's one of the sports here that goes for the entire duration. Nikar, great start in this second half. 12 points now for him. But it is one sport that goes for the whole duration of the Olympic Games, which is quite unusual. So it is a bit of a marathon. Player management is quite important. Kush was left wide open, but missed with the shot. Nikar to Haddadi.
This start by Iran is vastly different to how they were playing the first half, although we see a pretty easy transition to Rosic. But Iran just got a little bit more pep in their step at the moment, and coming out here and playing with a little bit more intensity.
Gee, Haddadi was in a bear hug there under the hoop. These referees, sometimes the slightest nudge is a foul, and then other times, as I said, he was being absolutely manhandled there, right next to the referee, and nothing coming his way.
Foul in that rebounding contest by Rosic.
Jump shot from a long way out, and it drops for Afag. Much better start.
And just the intensity, you can notice it on, see how they're applying themselves on the defensive end. Coming out there a lot stronger.
Banic saw a huge opening there. But Iran outscoring Croatia 7-4 in this quarter so far. Early days, 58 plays 23. Croatia well in control.
Banic, the foul on Nikar. Sorry, the foul was on again Baric, but it was on Haddadi. Down low, just trying to stop him from getting to the basket. And again, Haddadi flung out of the play.
Nikar. He's got some moves, hasn't he?
He certainly has. And down low, he takes it to the basket, puts the ball on the floor.
Desperation Davari, but he gives away the foul. Now, I know you tend to think that Nikar should be a little more team-orientated, but again, look, he's up to 14 points already, and in a team that's only got 25 on the board, and we've seen him do this every day. I mean, he does have a go, at least you can say that.
Absolutely, and today was a day where you can excuse him for some of those early shots and forced penetrations, because none of his teammates, well, very few of his teammates have looked that interested, and at least he's a little bit of fire in the belly and going about it with the determination you would expect.
Double change coming up for Croatia. Rudez and Perkic, the captain, will come on. Banic and Rosic go to the bench. And a bit of a sad story for Nikar as well, coming to these games. He's actually got something extra to play for, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, his brother passed away at the end of last year, and his brother, Aiden, was a very prominent player in that tournament, the Asian qualification series, and it was a real tragedy. And he's dedicated this tournament to him, and he's done a good job at that as well.
Lost his brother in a car crash, so very, very sad.
Certainly keeps it in perspective.
It does. A rare moment for Haddadi in this game. Geez, copping some treatment, he really is.
Iran off to a flyer. They've outscored Croatia 11-4 at the start of this third quarter.
Rudez, a miss. He ends up with the cameraman. Afag drops the big three-pointer.
And the foul. Chance for a rare 4-point play. Afag was the standout player against Argentina a couple of nights ago.
In a team that's been getting well beaten, look, he's up around the 13 points per game.
Absolutely. And he shoots the ball well. A little bit of confusion about who the foul was on, and it was actually an offensive foul. They've called the foul on the screen away from the ball on Afag, but they've counted the three.
Ukic missed with the layup. Nika. Good support from the crowd for the Iranians, helping them with their plight here. Nika to 16 points.
And this is the sort of form we've seen glimpses of right throughout the tournament.
Perkacin, Croatian captain, makes two. 60-32 now.
It's fair to say, Rajko Torman, the man who was actually born in Croatia, the coach of Iran, I reckon he's given the boys a fair old spray at half-time because they've come out with a completely different attitude in this second half.
Haddadi, can he get it back? And he gets it up. That'll fire the big man up.
Down low, as you mentioned, Haddadi just been manhandled on a regular basis, and this time he powers through it all.
Timeout called. Croatia 60, Iran coming back 34.
And really encouraging signs for Iran. They've outscored Croatia 18-6.
That's a big start in this third quarter.
And it is difficult when you're Croatia, when you go in at half-time, you're winning by so much to maintain that focus. But one thing they don't want to do, they don't want to get sloppy about the way they're going about it. Make sure that they keep focused and keep the efficiency. And here we look at Afag draining the three.
Let's look at the lead scorers in the game so far. Nika getting right away now with 16 points. Haddadi has 10, even though we think Haddadi's been a bit quiet today. He's up to 10. And for Croatia, who lead by 26, Rosic has 10. In fact, Perkacin leads for them with 11. And Rudez has 8. Rudez has dropped a couple of three-pointers. The young lad who hasn't seen a lot of court time, the 21-year-old.
And you talk about Haddadi and those 10 points. He's doing it at 5 of 9, 56% from the field, but he also has the 10 rebounds. So he's been giving his all against a lot of attention from Croatia. And let's face it, in the scouting report, when Croatia's going through Iran, it would all be about Haddadi and how you're going to stop him. Nika may come into the equation a little bit, as would Afag, but I'm suspecting not a lot of attention's given to too much else. So these three players in particular really have to face a lot of defensive pressure.
Well, he's woken up a bit now, Haddadi, moving up and down the court early in the game. He was just about cemented to the spot. He looked very tired and weary after a long campaign. But he's sparked into action now. Perkacin. Lonchar, good rebound.
Smart play by Haddadi then. He backed off against Perkacin, who you, as you mentioned earlier on, is fantastic strength down low, and he just didn't allow the contact and used his size. Smart play.
Comes back to Haddadi. Nice ball. Sahakian with the points, but great assist by the big man Haddadi. Iran on a roll here. Got to admire this effort because the first half was terrible. They've really lifted. Oh, Haddadi, not this time. Kush. Thomas wide open. Nikar rebound. Game alive all of a sudden. 21-8 this quarter. Iran is winning.
They probably missed a couple of opportunities just like that one from Nikar, which were right there. Coach of Iran certainly fired up.
Haddadi. Oh, he's really lifted. I thought he was gone. He went to the bench in the second quarter. He barely walked off the court. 12 rebounds he has now.
He was calling for a sub early on in the game as well.
What can he do with this? No, gives off. Nikar, offensive foul. First personal foul for Nikar. Nisovic is coming on for Croatia. Lonchar goes off. And Zandi back in for Iran. Perkichin might as well have a shot. He was left on his lonesome. Goes in with the left hand. 64-37. Plenty of room for Haddadi this time. Can't get a clear run at the basket. Sahakian. Rudez, Nisovic.
Offensive foul on Nisovic. Down low.
He's up to 4 personal fouls now.
Sahakian was doing a good job of trying to front the low post, grossly outsize. Sahakian was on that occasion, and Nisovic was just with the arm holding off, and the referee called it.
Davari, they try to hold him up, and they have. Oh, he got it back somehow. Sandi. Haddadi. Nisovic rebound. Thomas. Margin 29.
Quick shot by Iran. Whenever you're outsized and outskilled like Iran is, you'd normally like to get a little bit more motion before you launch a shot. Just try and take the wind out of the ball, because as you can see, these long shots, perimeter shots, gets Croatia running, and they raffle it. Eventually, dip it in there.
Timeout called by Iran as Croatia get on another mini roll here. They just hold the proceedings. Croatia 68, Iran 37. Sharing the scoring around now, the Croatians. Captain Perkichin leads 13. Couple of 10s, Rosic and Thomas. Nisovic has 8, so too does Rudez. So plenty of players getting on the score sheet. And it's just the 2 usual suspects for Iran. Nikar has 16 and Haddadi 11.
You see some of the highlights of this Croatian outfit. They pass the ball and find each other. One of the key features of Croatia is extremely unselfish, great passing team, and as we've seen even in this game, prepared to look at the bigger picture with the way the coach has rotated his players around. Planinic not even seeing any action, getting some rest, not concerned so much about the individual numbers, but looking ahead to bigger things. And Croatia, they are a real chance to get through to the semi-finals. Highly, highly likely that they'll be taking on Spain, which will be a tough ask, but not beyond Croatia. The way they can shoot the ball, they've shown enough that they can compete with anyone.
Gets his own ball back.
Hello! Harari goes upstairs with 2 hands. Nice play and plenty of authority about that as well. There we have a look at the offensive rebounds. Iran, they've skipped ahead. They lead at 9-6. Doing a good job on the offensive glass.
Bit of confusion there by Croatia. Davaprana, number 8, new player on for Iran.
Admittedly, when Croatia's shooting the ball at 58%, there's far less offensive rebound opportunities.
Davaprana now has not put up a shot in the entire tournament, Davaprana. Averaging 2 minutes per game. Oh! Came crashing down there, Davari. And he's okay.
There we see, just losing his footing. No malice in that. But
in fact, he says he was okay. He went off, but holding the eye, he might be bleeding. Might have hit his head on the deck, I think, as he went down.
Just his legs got taken from out underneath him.
And Nisevic is out of the game. 5 fouls for him.
In 12, a little under 13 minutes. 5 fouls. He leads with 8 points and 4 rebounds.
And there is a fair bit of blood coming there, I think, from the eye of Davari. So Nikar goes to the line.
Sprinted to the line. Make sure he gets the 2. Wasn't any doubt about who he thought should be taking the 2 free throws.
And he's missed both. Then gives away the foul. Croatia were away. Armeni back into the game. Final minute, 3rd quarter. Perkichin. Oh, that was easy. 15 points now, Croatian captain. Davaprana. Haddadi. Rebound Rosic. So Iran have outscored Croatia 23-16 in this quarter. Something for them to be happy about. In their last game in Beijing. This quarter in isolation has been very good. Lonchar and Haddadi gets in his way. Great work, big Haddadi.
3 seconds left on the game clock for this quarter.
Good pressure Iran to wind down the shot clock. They'll get a final one away. Afag. Oh, almost. 3-quarter time. Croatia 70, Iran 39. Croatia shooting at 58% as opposed to 33% for the Iranians. Nikar has 16 and he is the lead scorer on the court. 70 plays 39. Final quarter about to get underway. Croatia 70, Iran 39, and after a fairly lackadaisical first half, Iran have worked their way back into it. Not right back into the contest, but they have made a game of it. And they're going to leave Beijing, I think, on a high. Great experience for this Asian champion lineup.
Absolutely. Let's be honest, in that first half, they were uncompetitive. And they looked like they'd packed it up, packed it in for the tournament. But they've come out and outscored Croatia 23-16 in the third quarter. And really showing some fight and some character.
Haddadi over the top.
And the effort by the big fella in particular in that third quarter, just sensational. What a pass down to Nika.
Into Sahaki and Haddadi.
Haddadi, I tell you what, Haddadi, a little bit more effort like that and he could make it into my top 5 favourite players for the tournament.
the Gaze All-Star 5. That'll be a feather in his cap. 72-41. He's at it again. Oh, he's lost it. Good pass in for Lonchar. Haddadi. It's become very important in this game. Foul called on Thomas.
Second personal for Thomas. He's got 10 points. And as we mentioned right throughout, Croatia really using everyone except for Popovic, who's under that injury cloud, and Planinic, who is a superstar, and perhaps just giving him a little bit more of a blow.
No foul given away by Rosic. Well done to stop Haddadi that time. See there, Lonchar wearing him like a glove. Armini. Devaprana. Haddadi, three-pointer. That would have brought the house down. It really would have.
The fans here been very, very appreciative of the effort of Iran right throughout the tournament. There's a real recognition that they are one of the minnows of international basketball.
Bukic, Thomas. Gee, he was 2 meters back from the three-point line there. Thomas, 13 points.
Croatia are an absolute delight to watch, and the structure they use, the passing, the cutting, and probably even more significantly is their unselfishness.
Nika. And they've just lost their way again, shooting-wise, Iran. Lonchar. Haddadi. Clever flick on for Nika.
Great pass. Nika, well executed play on the backdoor play. But it was Devaprana with the sweet backdoor bounce pass.
Haddadi over the top. Sent it out for Amini. Nika. Haddadi again. Not this time. Has 14 rebounds, the big man. Thomas. Oh, his last two shots have been sweet.
They're automatic from the perimeter, three-point line. Really was Argentina who took that away from them. But when they're left open, I don't think there's a more efficient team from the three-point line than Croatia.
Foul called on Lonchar. Meantime, Thomas has gone to 16 points. He's their lead scorer now, Croatia.
Fark checks in the game for Nika. For Iran. And Rudez back into the game.
Lonchar again. 2 quick fouls for him. His 3rd foul.
The impressive thing about Rudez, number 12 for Croatia, he's only played the 1 game and the 3 minutes, but he's came out today and really applied himself, and that's the thing, you always got to be ready. International basketball with a 40-minute game, not everyone can play, but you need those guys on the bench. If something does happen to some of the stars, you've got to be ready to come in, and the transition should be seamless.
Sahakian puts his hand up. Held up Rosic.
A lot of ball in that.
Well, Sahakian tried to claim it, but I think it was on Haddadi. He was trying to help out the big fella. Farg doing a good job defending Kush. Jukic. Lonchar, that was clever. Nice touch.
As I mentioned before, Ukic is the man that will be heading over to the NBA to play with the Toronto Raptors. And they're very high on his prospects. Hasn't had an outstanding tournament, only shot it at 33% from the field as Nika goes to the glass and makes a tough play. He's also struggled from the 3-point line, 4 of 14.
Nika's up to 20 points for the game. Now, against Australia during the year in the 3 games they played down there, I think he had a 20 and a 24. Do you rate him at all?
Well, I think in this team he does a fantastic job. He's skilled, but he gets a lot of opportunities in this particular team. And as I've mentioned right throughout the tournament, he's not shy. He's a solid player and developing and good skills. Not sure he'd be one of the ones that you'd be internationally would be come under the radar to be recruited, but
I mean, he just got ahead of himself there. Tripped over the ball. Nika again. 22 points, if you don't mind.
He has been impressive today.
Final 4 minutes of the game. 4 minutes left in the Olympic campaign for Iran.
Rudez has put his hand up to say, Coach, I deserve a little bit more love.
Pick me. 3 threes for Rudez.
4 of 7 from the field. He's got the 3 rebounds.
And again, Lonchar, 3 fouls just in this quarter against him. He's minding Big Haddadi. So 4 fouls for him. Haddadi goes to the line. I reckon in the next 12 months we'll see Haddadi bob up somewhere. He's got the Serbian coach with this Iranian national team, so word will get out. Obviously the Europeans, they've seen him here.
All the Australians.
He'll play for somebody.
There'd be 10 NBL teams that would take a look at the big fella and say, I think we can find a spot for him somewhere in the roster. Not sure about the conditions in Iran as far as the professional nature of their sport and the level of compensation he receives over there. but he'd be a national figure. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, big block from Nikar. Davrapana and Croatia just take it out of play.
Great block. Good hands by Nikar.
Sarobnajad off the bench straight into the play. Rafag's been a handy backup for Nikar and Haddadi throughout this tournament as well. Shooting at just over 12 points per game. Nikar, Sarobnajad. Fires them from everywhere, Nikar. Ukic nearly lost it. Got it back to Rosic. Lonchar. No basket.
Haddadi really showing the effects of the energy that he's used here on the defensive end. Way off Lonchar, both those last two attempts.
Long ball in for Rosic. 87 Croatia, Iran 51. Final 2 minutes of this competition for Iran. They lost to Russia by 22, Lithuania by 32, Australia by 38 and Argentina 15. But the odd quarter here and there during this first week of competition has been quite brilliant from the Iranians. They've come a long way. They're the Asian champions. Jump shot from Haddadi. He moves up to 17 points and has the 14 rebounds. Lonchar, he's missed with his last couple. Another rebound, Haddadi. Just drags his feet down the court. Sarobnajad, well done.
And you look at the makeup of this pool and the final placings. Lithuania will go through as the #1 ranked team. 2 pools of 6. Probably the surprise has been that Russia, who were the European champions, have fallen out and will not make the quarterfinals following their loss to Australia. That knocked them out, and here we see
big fella Haddadi. It's gone down.
Our main man.
He's holding
Haddadi.
his chest.
I don't think he's too hurt. Just copped an elbow in the chest by the look of things. A little bit of discomfort there for the big fella. He's only got 44 seconds to go in his Olympic Games campaign, and he can hold his head high. He's done his best for his country.
Is he the starting centre in the Gays All-Star 5?
I don't know if you get the nod. I tell you what,
Bench.
though, he's
Back up.
He certainly put his hand up. Haddadi, Dwight Howard, Haddadi, Dwight Howard. I just can't, I'm just not sure.
Fair enough. But if you're picking a team to have fun with, I think he's in it.
Absolutely. And you're picking a team on effort and determination and playing against adversity, he'd definitely be your starter. He could be captain.
So a chance for Nikar to add to his tally as well. Would round out a great tournament. He's on 23 points at the moment.
What about you, Chris? Your tip? Croatia taking on Spain in the quarterfinal. Who do you like?
Maybe Spain just. But I think all of the quarterfinals are going to be tight, aren't they? Obviously the USA are the standout, but apart from that, they are all tight games. As we wind down the clock now, comfortable win for Croatia, but it's been great to see Iran here at this tournament. Have enjoyed the work of Haddadi and Nikar. Afag's a good little player as well. Nice finish for Croatia.
Rudez, he'll be on the all-bench team.
Nikar, the final say, he doesn't score, and that is the end of the tournament for Iran. They've done themselves proud, not quite up to it today. Croatia too strong. Croatia 91, Iran 57. Looking at the lead scorers for Croatia, in the end it was 16 to Thomas, Rosic 16 as well, Rudez with 13, who started on the bench. Nikar, the standout for Iran, 25 points. Haddadi, 17 points and 15 rebounds. And in the end, just a great, I won't call it a training run because that's unkind, but a good hit out for Croatia before the quarterfinals.
It is, and the only concern I guess you would have is with Popovic, who's their third leading scorer. He's still under an injury cloud. Planinic is one of the superstars of the tournament, and he didn't see any action today. But as you mentioned, a good polished performance to finish off the regular rounds for Croatia, and they shot it well at 56% and a phenomenal 10 of 17, 59%. It's the third time this tournament they've been over 50% from the three-point line, so that clearly is their strength. And they've got that great balance inside, outside, with guys like Lonchar, Baric and Prakac. Good presence in there, so they could trouble some of the other teams in the quarterfinals and for the remainder of the tournament.
So Croatia finished third in this pool. They've had 3 wins now. Iran bow out, and in the end, Croatia too good, 91 to 57.